Last year in July, former Godzilla YouTuber Alyssa put out a statement on why she left the fandom. This post was covered by Kaiju Kim, causing a lot more discussion of the toxicity in the Godzilla fandom and how we can improve it. I thought Kim's video on the topic wasn't perfect. I thought she could have shown more of Alyssa's points and shown better evidence of the death threat claims, but ultimately it was helpful. This video would soon be removed, probably due to backlash. I don't remember the actual reason. But the person I'm talking about here, C Animus, disagreed with this, saying it was bad and harmful even. I want to say this for honesty's sake, that I thought the video would have been insightful based on the title, maybe talking about how some Godzilla fans don't engage with the media as the way it should have been and ignore the deeper meaning of it. But as you can tell of me making this video, I was wrong with having faith in the guy, as this was a really bad faith critique on the video, and honestly, I think it was more harmful than Kim's video, on the way it possibly blames Alyssa's for the things that are not her fault. So let's see why I think that.
I received lots of inappropriate messages from men as a kid, was idolized for looking a certain way, and treated/referred to as that girl Godzilla fan, despite producing a body of content that didn't revolve whatsoever around my appearance, femininity, etc.
Alyssa apparently doesn't like being referred to as a girl. Specifically, that girl Godzilla fan. On its own, this complaint is pretty mild. However, thanks to Alyssa bundling this complaint in with her sexual harassment claims, this nomenclature has become poisoned by association, and now carries far more weight than it otherwise would have.
It's obvious with context clues that Alyssa being called that girl Godzilla fan was in a derogatory way. Her being called that was supposed to have weight to it. It's not psychological trickery, it was her being sexualized because she was a girl in the Godzilla fandom. Hell, if you actually watched her content, you would know she was very open about this for years.
But what I'm about to tell you is very personal, and it has affected me as long as I've been online. Specifically, since I was 14 years old. The pressure only continued and worsened, of course, after I joined YouTube and did my face reveal. I started to attract a new pool of people who I suspected were only interested in me because of physical reasons. As a Gen Z female growing up in a predominantly sexualized culture, I was misled into believing that the best way to achieve success in the Godzilla community and really anywhere as a content creator was to use my looks as a prop.
And this is coming from someone who has no history with it and just went through her backlog to check.
Just put Godzilla on a big screen and I'll be happy most of the time.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next products.
I still love Godzilla and I always will, but it's not my life. It's not my life. Why can't people just have civil discussions about anything? Whining and complaining and arguing. Why can't people just have civil discussions about anything? Do I always have a good time? No. But then I just say, okay, that wasn't for me. I appreciate what the film was trying to do, but it didn't suit my personal taste. And then I just move on.
Why can't people just have civil discussions about anything?
If you disagree with someone, don't attack them or their personality. Whining and complaining and arguing. If someone disagrees with you, don't take it as a personal attack. Sending death threats? I can't believe I have to say this. When I sit down to watch a movie, not just Godzilla, but any narrative film, when I sit down to watch a movie, I'm usually just looking to shut off my brain for a couple of hours, enjoy the ride, and have a good time.
You do know you're supposed to turn your brain back on afterwards, right? I want to focus on a couple of things here.
Your opinion is valid, but the opinions of people who disagree with you are also valid. Just put Godzilla on a big screen and I'll be happy most of the time. Okay, that wasn't for me. I appreciate what the film was trying to do, but it didn't suit my personal taste. And then I just move on. Why are you letting yourself get so angry over something that's not even real? I basically just don't care about stuff like that anymore.
Bloody hell, this is a Chris Stuckman take if ever there was one. If everyone did what you are suggesting they do, we wouldn't be able to have civil discussions, Kim. She is actually advocating just sit in front of a screen brain dead while the flashing lights and loud noises play, and the drool pools in our laps.
Here, he edited Kim in a bad light. To the complaining part, she's obviously talking about the extreme who will send awful messages to people who disagree with them. It's obvious that she's incentivizing to have civil discussions, but C Animus is editing it like she is telling everyone just not to discuss anything. She wasn't even talking about criticisms about Godzilla movies. She was complaining about others being pissy on how Godzilla walks, or specific design choices that don't matter to the narrative and could mean nothing to people because it's just that small. There are people who like the action, and that's fine. I'll give you an example. Kamen Rider Geats. I don't like it, but I have friends who like the fight scenes, and that's fine. Me and my friends will make fun of each other for it, but it's all in good fun, and we have no hard feelings about it. He also unnecessarily insults her by insinuating she's stupid and watches movies with her brain off, which just makes him look like an ass. Like, if you want people to think you're not a pseudo-intellectual, then don't lash out with personal attacks at people you don't agree with. And the worst point of this part is him insinuating that Kim would be okay with Alyssa's sexual harassment because it would be the opinion of those creeps, and that's fine. Like, I don't care if this is an example or a joke or whatever, because wow, what a way to make your opponent an immoral person with no evidence. Foreshadowing is a literary device that...
The people sending Alyssa sexual messages were obviously of the opinion that was fine. Are their opinions valid, Kim?
Cause no shit she wouldn't stand for it, for any reason. It was why she made the video. And even if it was their opinion, no one would agree with them, cause it's, well, immoral and psychologically damaging to the victim, and the only people who would agree with that are other creeps who do the same. Thinking that people's opinion on the media is valid, even if you don't agree with, or is objectively wrong, isn't the same as being okay with creeps doing creepy shit because it's, in their opinion, fine.
But she never clarifies that. She's clearly just shoving the camera in her face and pressing record. She could quite happily have shoved the camera in her face again and pressed record in editing to go, oh yeah, by the way, guys, no, that they didn't actually send death threats. This is the problem, is that straight away everybody here has gone, let's talk about the death threats. It's like, but there are no death threats, not the ones that she's not evidenced any death threats. She's evidenced someone getting angry at the person, like talking. It's somebody's not happy with Godzilla's design and they've sent a rude message to the guy who designed Godzilla. That's what's actually on screen. But everybody here has just said, oh look, let's talk about death threats.
Oh wow, look, the only valid point in this video. Round of applause. You were able to not make this video entirely useless.
If this video is scripted, fuck me, do a writing course or something, or just don't. Just don't. This whole rant from Kaiju Kim speaks to the sanding down of the sharp edges of wit and the enforcement of blandness.
And we're back with more unnecessary insults at Kim's expense, because apparently that's all this vermin has for criticisms. Like, I get it, you don't like her, but if you wanted to say she's stupid, just do it to her face. Be honest about it. Don't pretend it's for any good reason, because I only have heard one good point this entire video.
I want to return to the name calling in point 1. By lumping in people calling her a girl with the claims of sexual harassment via messages, Alyssa made the girl label seem far worse than it actually is. In the same way, by complaining about people who like to complain, In the same video as reporting sexual harassment and paedophilia, people like myself who analyse Godzilla and other media are being associated with sexual deviance. And I ain't having it. I shall not feel guilt via unwarranted association.
And even more actual stupidity. You can go all the way to the fucking beginning of the video and read the post that she doesn't think all Godzilla analysts are sex pests. She was one herself. You're just overreacting over what she could have said about you, when she probably doesn't even know about your existence. And again, hyper-focusing on her being called that girl Godzilla fan. Like, I hate repeating my points, but again, it's very obvious on what she means by this. Unnecessary sexualization, because that label is usually used against girls they think don't engage with whatever usually male-dominated hobby they say they do, and only do it for male attention. It's not a hard thing to understand. Why do you think the term gamer girl is used in an insulting way?
This mostly happens due to Alyssa's list and Kaiju Kim's video being vague. If names had been named, those responsible for these, let's face it, crimes could be brought to light, and if not punished, then ostracized from the fandom, turned into examples of what not to do and how not to behave. Instead, Alyssa's list jabs blindly out at us, and Kaiju Kim waves a hand in our general direction. Instead of punishing criminals, they are blaming the crowd of innocents. Do they mean to lay the blame for Alyssa's suffering at our feet? Hopefully not. But by being so vague and so sweeping with their statements, they might as well have.
And here we are to the worst point in the video, the one I genuinely find harmful. Basically victim blaming Alyssa for not naming every single person who has sexually harassed her over the years. Look, I get wanting those pests out of the community. I too, more than anyone else. But there could be multiple reasons that Alyssa didn't do a whole call-out post on these people that aren't our fucking business. She might not remember their names due to being traumatized by it, because keep in mind, this has been happening since she was a minor. Or because if she did call them out, they might have motive to harass her again, or worse. It's not our place to tell her how she should tell her experience to others. Just like putting into perspective, if someone was assaulted and didn't say who it was, would you go up to them and constantly demand them to reveal it? Because if they didn't, they're a bad person because they basically let them get away with what they did with no consequences? If you have common sense, not only would that be invasive, but reports like this can take years because of the people needing to be able to recover from their trauma. And even then, there's more than just that for reasons of why they would not be able to report their abusers. Get that through your goddamn skull. Originally, this was never going to see the light of day, because currently this script is unfinished, because to put in perspective, this script was written back when the situation with Alyssa was still recent. And I felt like at the end of the day, I was being unfair to a person that I didn't like one video of. And maybe I was judging them too hard, and maybe they could have improved. But now it's been a year since I canned this. And now he has proven to me how worse of a guy he is, and how much I shouldn't have given him any benefit of the doubt. So I decided, fuck it, and at least let some people know that his behavior isn't. In his recent video, Lies of G, talking about Anthony Gramuglia, he references a situation with Neil Gaiman and sexual assault cases, and how it relates to him and his friend's petty Twitter beef over Godzilla and objectivity.
Anthony Gramuglia posted tweets about Gojin the Makai's podcast, and later my video, he made declarative statements as to their substances. Later, after everyone had read and had their opinions poisoned by his words, he would state that someone else told him about them and he hadn't actually watched them himself.
And I have watched some of it, skipped around a little bit. Most of it is, well, we'll find out.
We can see this happen in small scale and in real time on his live stream.
So, the backseater said was he threatened violence on people in chat. He was saying, like, just violent stuff. And Chloe gave him the ban hammer, like, in an instant. Saw that going, like, nope, banned. I didn't even see it. Chloe told me, like, after it already happened. So, it's fun stuff.
When people, including myself, tried to correct him afterwards, Gramuglia went out of his way to ignore evidence being presented to him, even to the point of demanding more and more difficult variations of evidence to be presented to him. And here he is doing the exact same thing. He may have listened to some of the podcast, maybe he skipped around a little bit, but there's a strong chance he read the Toulon didn't listen tweets describing the podcast, not knowing they were inaccurate. Then when someone told him he was wrong, instead of having some self-awareness, he dug his heels in and resisted acknowledging his wrongdoing. This not only shows his massive hypocrisy, i.e. declaring untruths as facts on the weakest of information while resisting telling the truth despite strong evidence to the contrary, but this also shows a pattern of behaviour, one he is willing to apply to any situation, regardless of importance or severity.
It makes him seem like the Twitter drama he had is on par with a situation which is really offensive to the actual victims of Neil Gaiman. In context, he apparently was dealing with the mental fatigue from Anthony and his fans on Twitter.
We're done here. I've already stated this feud has been a pox on my mental health.
So instead of ignoring or just going outside or just, I don't know, blocking all of these people that exist for a reason and getting fucking mental help, if it was really that bad, he compares his situation with a situation that had actual people raped to prove a point, which is absolutely fucking disgusting. From what I heard, the Neil Gaiman story was actively ongoing during the time of those tweets he mentioned, using that to his Twitter drama, which could have easily been avoided if he just left it alone. Once that was done, it was done. There were so many ways that you could have backed off by just not fucking responding, because at that point, you were just poking a goddamn bear. You say Ant is victimizing himself in the way that, like, he dodges responsibility. Pot calling kettle black for you, motherfucker. Because not only you did the same thing by comparing your situation to the Neil Gaiman allegations, and you did the same thing with Kaiju Kim, despite, like, with the Kaiju Kim video, despite the fact that, one, the video doesn't even mention you at all, and two, the video's fucking gone! It doesn't have anything to do with it anymore! It's been probably a year since it's gone, yet your response still stays around as if it has any fucking relevance. Just, god fucking damn it. I never wanted this to come out. I really didn't. I fucking hate doing this. And I never wanted to interact with him and his friends, knowing the last time I did that, all it got me was sexual harassment. But I'm just fucking done with this. So if anyone sees this video, just so you know, C Animus, you're no better than Anthony. I don't even give a shit. I'm not defending anyone in this stupid controversy. You're both dumbasses. It's just one of you is just less of a dumbass. And I think I already know who's more of it. Go outside. And it's coming from me. Jesus fucking Christ.